Right, we get on with the mechanics of creation. This is part two, and we're looking at the hologram today. But I'd like to just do some revision of what we did in the first webinar. We talked about how the universe consists of 99.99% light and sound waves. And we talked about what are these waves. And we said there are basically two kinds of waves, light and sound waves. And we talked about the motion of these waves. We explained that these waves move in different ways. Light waves move in a single direction and sound waves move in concentric circles, thus contributing to the basic design of sacred geometry. And we talked, why is this relevant? Well, these waves collectively create matter, create form, create the holographic reality fields, create timelines of reality, and dimensional spaces of reality through their inherent properties and their geometry. How do they do that? Matter is created by the observation of waves, which when observed are matter, and when not observed remain waves. They exist in two forms simultaneously. Let's look at the double slit hole experiment to find out how this was discovered, and then we played the video of the double slit hole experiment. Then we had to ask the question, so what is matter? Matter is a wave interference which when observed appears as matter. So who is the observer? Well, we are. We are both the observer of our reality as well as the creators of it. So what is the observer? The observer is a sovereign soul being that is created when it becomes self-aware. This is the soul. So the soul is a sovereign self observation of their own reality. Now, how does the observer, the soul, come about? We said that souls are created when a wave of light and a wave of sound that are in harmonic resonance create a spark of energy and then magically enter a field, a reality field of awareness, and enter a soul evolutionary journey to have experiences in order to refine the soul. So what happens when light and sound waves in harmonic resonance with each other collide? That's when a soul being is created. The soul being observed their reality matter through a stair-step process of creation. First, a particle we call quanta is created. Quanta are a field of highly charged electric and magnetic particles and waves that create a morphogenetic field we call quarks. Quarks have never been observed really by science, so they remain a theoretical science. Quarks are more accurately termed as a morphogenetic field that is a spiraling standing scalar wave. And all matter is based on scalar technology at the level of the morphogenetic field. When atoms begin to spin faster and faster, they transform into molecules. These highly vibrating molecules are the building blocks for what we call cells. So we live in and observe all matter as cellular constructs. So what's important to understand is that we are waves of light and sound, particles, quarks, atoms, molecules, cells, all at the same time, in many levels of material reality. Souls are created when a wave of light and sound are in harmonic resonance. What is a harmonic resonant wave? A harmonic resonant wave means that the frequency of the wave bears a certain mathematical relationship to its crossover wave, for example. And then we looked at the musical spiral of frequency of light and sound. And we saw that in the Fibonacci spiral, there is a certain relationship mathematically between the various notes and the various colors in the music, sound, and color spectrum. And then I pointed out, you see the spiral goes down and it collapses. The frequencies of light and light create colors. The frequencies of create notes in music. When light and sound waves are combined in an harmonic way, they create a certain energy signature. That is what gives the soul its unique soul identity. The soul body is a field of highly charged electrically and magnetically charged fields of ions called plasma. How do we know we have a soul body? Because the soul can be filmed and photographed using bioelectric photography. Everything that is a living organism has a soul body and a soul construct, and we'll deal with this in more detail later. Each soul body has a soul template, and we will learn more about this in upcoming webinars. Each soul body enters a soul evolutionary process or journey through the dimensional construct of reality fields, and we will learn more about these in upcoming webinars as well. Each soul body refines itself by creating experiences for itself on its soul evolutionary journey. And again, we will learn more about this in upcoming webinars. A soul has its experiences in a holographic field of reality. And that's what we're going to be dealing with today in this webinar. Each soul has a relationship with other souls. These relationships are created by the wave fields. Waves come from somewhere and are going somewhere. And this to-ing and fro-ing of waves create these relationships. To summarize, energy soul bodies are created by the light and sound fields. They are designed according to a universal soul template. They enter a soul evolutionary process and provide their own experiences and are therefore divine creator beings. They experience their reality in a holographic field, matter field. Now let's get into part 2 of this Mechanics of Creation webinar. And today we're going to deal with the hologram. And it's also known as a reality field. A reality field or hologram is an experiential field of highly charged ions called a plasma field, in which a conscious soul being experiences themselves in a matter form and in a matter form environment. It's a bit like watching a 3D movie in which we are the script writer, the actor, the producer, the director, the casting director, the cameraman, the projectionist, the gaffer, the location director, the casting director, the editor, etc. And we experience that in a company of actors. Except in the movie we are watching, someone else is writing the script, producing and directing the movie. Did any of you watch The Truman Show? Was that a deliberate attempt by Hollywood to make a holographic experience as a preposterous notion? Truth in plain sight. How is this holographic movie constructed? Does the notion that light and sound waves traveling in our space-time can be diverted from light and sound waves into an apparently solid 3D hologram seem preposterous? Only the unobservant would think so. What about TVs, computers, cell phones? Let's examine something we are all familiar with: television. TVs pick up sound and light waves in the atmosphere and project light images onto a screen and sound through loudspeakers. So do computers and cell phones. The notion that light and sound waves can be collected from the empty space around us further supports the notion of a holographic reality. How do TVs do that? Well, you see, a TV has an aerial which picks up waves, sound and light waves, and it then puts that into a system. And the system includes a sound channeler, an amplifier, a video detector, and it channels the sound in through speakers. And likewise, it consists of color decoding circuits that are in integrated circuit boards. And all this is projected into a projector light globe, which projects that onto a screen on the TV set. Light and sound waves carry information. In the case of a TV, the information comes through the air as the digital metadata. Now, I don't know if you are aware, but all the pictures you see on your computers or even on your screen in your paint shop and paint programs, these images all are metadata. So that's how the police, the internet police, track whose pictures belong to who, because there's metadata. And that metadata is a digital construct which comes in, that can be read by computers. Now, this information that comes in, this digital metadata information comes in, and it's transmitted from a broadcast station and received by the aerial. Remember that there are literally thousands of such signals floating around in space at the same time. The TV is able to pick up the signal by attenuating the frequency of the waves coming in. In other words, when you tune your TV to receive the waves at the same wave frequency as the frequency coming in, the TV is able to read and decipher that information and project that light information onto a screen and project the sound through loudspeakers. The picture we see on our TV screens looks smooth flowing, but in actual fact, the picture is flashing on and off so fast, it only appears smooth flowing. Physicists have postulated that all material matter is likewise flashing on and off. This will become more relevant in later webinars. Just to give you more information about TVs, TVs have what is called a logic board. And the electrical wiring within a TV set consists of transformers, coils, chokes, and resistors. These components are secured on a logic board. The circuit provides the correct electrical supply and sends messages to the various components of the TV set. It is the brain of the TV and enables it to function. And then there are capacitors. A capacitor is a device that stores an electrical charge between two metal plates and releases the energy as light. The capacitor in a TV set would give you a severe electrical shock if you touched it because it stores a large amount of power. Now, this circuitry in a TV is going to become more relevant when we deal with the construct of the soul, because in a sense, we also have the same circuitry in our soul bodies. And it will become very interesting later on that we will see how our soul body is very much like a TV set, that we can pick up signals of light and sound from the universe. But in the case of a TV is only receiving information and projecting it onto a screen. What we do, we receive information, project that onto the screen, but we also transmit that information. So we are all transmitting and receiving information all the time. In the universal order, the same principles apply, and we will deal with them in more detail later. Suffice it to say, can you now see that the notion of light and sound waves being attenuated can produce pictures and sound? Remember also that there are many programs being beamed out at the same time, and the picture you see and experience is one that you tune your TV into. So your viewing is determined by what picture you are tuned into. This will become more relevant as we go along. In a sense, we are like TVs, projecting the signals we are receiving into an experiential reality field that we experience as a holographic reality. In our next webinar, we will delve more deeply into this. But now, if you can understand that the universe is filled with light and sound waves that are attenuated by us as a holographic reality, thank you for watching.